So challenging overconsumption. And this is just to be read. The first phase deals with primarily the regulation of toxic substances that are the byproducts of consumption, all the plastic and garbage and things that we are waste. The second phase deals with organizing people to respond to the negative effects of pollution in a marginalized community. And I'm focused in the marginalized community as it relates to the Youth Adventure Nature Network is a springboard from a program called the Environmental Awareness Network for Diversity and Conservation, that there weren't people of color, that there weren't people of different perspectives and different ways of life in this environmental movement or in conservation. And we connected that with the DEC, the New York State DEC, and some of the schools and school districts to bring about a movement that would connect and diversify the conservation field. The third phase, where we now consist of transforming our lifestyles, seizing opportunities for innovation and involving people in the movement who have never been involved in it. I work with some young people who have never been 5 blocks from where they live, but they live in close proximity to the Hudson River, the Adirondack Mountains, and vacant lots or the order of the day in my community, but not seeing how that can be an open green space. So we take it upon ourselves to produce that kind of an atmosphere and belief in being able to empower ourselves to make those things work for us as opposed to against us, getting them outdoors. The key word around here is about exposure, exposure, exposure. And I get asked the question, well, how do you get a kid to go fly fishing? And my simple answer is take them there. Just take them there. Exposure, exposure, exposure. Understanding the oneness of God and His creation. That's our word, Tawheed. That's our principle. Seeing signs of God, the ayat. The ayat is like a verse in the Quran, meaning a sign or a word that comes from that gives a meaning to the mind to make a difference and make a motion. Being the steward of the earth, the Khalifa. We are the Khalifa of the planet Earth, the vicegerent, king in a sense, or one in charge. Honoring the trust we have with God. That's amana. The amana is a signed contract or an oral contract that we have with our higher power. Protectors of the planet, moving towards justice, the adl. And that is the law in Islam, the adl. And living in the balance of nature. We say we take the middle course, not the extreme to the left or the extreme to the right, but the middle course. And from this perspective of these principles, the environmental movement can be seen as an attempt to restore balance and justice to the earth as a remedy to the environmental destruction caused by overconsumption, one of the biggest things in regards to conservation being the order today. And so I've developed a masjid perspective and using the mosque as a center, and we have a Masjid al-Salam, meaning of peace, youth group. And the sign is using the power of nature to transform urban youth. Again, this is my slogan. It's important that you have an opportunity to bond with the natural world, to learn to love it before being asked to heal its wounds. If inner city youth and suburban youth are not exposed to the outdoors and to the wilderness, they're not going to understand the importance of protecting it. Here we have the theme of experience and the need to multiply pipelines to bring wilderness experiences to people who would otherwise have little chance of them. So our program is volunteer driven. And from the Quran, we say from the Quran, Allah says, and nothing do you spend in the least in His cause, but He replaces it. For He is the best of those who grant sustenance. So by volunteering and not being so-called paid for it or compensated for the work, our idea and our belief is in doing the volunteer that Allah will provide, that God will provide, regardless of how you roll up your sleeves and go to work. So our youth are inspired to be outdoors, and we know that we're taking them from an unhealthy situation that I consider the nature deficit disorder, where kids are wired, they're connected to the texting, and so by offering them the opportunity to get their hands in dirt through community gardens, to be on ships sailing, to be skiing, to be team building in these episodes, that they get a respect for the creation, and by that become aware of the majesty of their creator. So we get them outdoors. So our approach Doesn't remain in a big way. We start out small. Our approach is start small, be local, stay relevant, and have fun. Safety, fun, learning. We say that all the time in our activities. Safety, fun, and learning. Making the small things become connected and they become big things. Small plots become bigger plots, and those plots become initiatives, and those initiatives become programs. And this is what we do in making our environment and social development.